Hi, Sadie. Thank you so much for helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
My name's Sadie. I am a student of mathematics in East Bay here in the Bay Area, and I don't know what else to say. I guess me and my partner have three rats. So that's my go-to fun fact is we have pet rats.
So what got you into mathematics?
um, I just always loved it. In elementary school, I had a teacher who encouraged me to participate in like the math competitions. So I really enjoyed that all through middle school and high school, even though none of the schools I went to were ever that good. It was just a great time to be with great math teachers and my friends. So that put me on the math path.
What's your favorite subfield in mathematics?
Um, I guess just because I'm doing a lot of it, linear algebra, but in general, I really, really, really like math history. I love reading about old mathematicians. And thankfully, lots of Western mathematicians wrote tons and tons and tons of letters to each other that's all archived and everything. So lots of great reading material for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's a lot of fun. I like math too. I actually have an undergrad degree in mathematics, but um, well, I guess first off, did you know that NASA is planning to send astronauts back to the moon?
I have heard.
What do you think about it?
I don't know. I think I still like can't even wrap my head around them doing it the first time with just how much I know about. The more I learn about like projectile physics and especially computer science, I'm more and more impressed about the original moon missions. So even now with everything, it's like, wow, that's pretty far away.
Well, you know, I I agree that the first missions were really impressive, but like from a control standpoint, I like wonder about the landing of like the Viking probes on like Mars, and then like the what is it, the Voyager 1 and 2, which were able to travel so far. I mean, like those were like the computing technology at the time was nothing like what we have now, and yet they were able to do that. I
Yeah,
just
no, it's so impressive. I recently stumbled on a documentary on the Soviet missions to Venus, and it was just like even so many unsuccessful attempts, even getting that close is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to have a probe that you send, and then like the Venetian atmosphere is so
Mhm.
horrific, I guess. But I think we're sending another probe to Venus soon, actually. The
I
U.S.
think so.
Yeah.
I know recently I was at a conference where one of the mathematicians preventing, I think she was only math for undergrad. It was for a math consortium type thing. She was writing software for the Europa Clipper satellite. And that was like the first presentation I sat in that day. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in way over my head. Everyone here is so impressive. But
That is amazing. And I guess
mhm.
that actually just launched, what, a couple of months ago?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so. I believe right at like the end of the summer window in like end of August.
Yeah. So when you think about the future of humanity, if you were to like think out 200 years, what does it look like to you?
That's an interesting question. I like to see a lot more cooperative things, and I think so much of the STEM field is leaning in that direction already. I think there's a lot of initiatives to be more amplifying of other voices and get input from other people and people who don't normally have a say in that field. And I think that's a good trend for those types of things. I think that I think thinking about like the types of programs I see for everything in the math world, imagining how much better it's going to be 200 years down the line makes me pretty hopeful.
Yeah, it's amazing. Have you ever used this website, Math Academy?
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but
It's like
um,
AI math tutoring lesson type thing. But
mm,
I just I mean I've been doing that, and it's amazing how much math I forgot, and it's been a lot of fun kind of going through that. But yeah.
recently for my own research, I've been doing using Mathematica a lot for the first time in my life, and even just seeing how much farther the Wolfram suggestive AI and stuff has come since I was like in high school, like trying to get like help with my calculus homework is so impressive to me.
I also understand you play Pokemon. Is that right?
Yes. That's
Uh,
how we met Steven.
uh, do you use your math at all in your like strategy and tactics?
There's a lot of probability that I run through my head, but most of the time it's struggling with basic arithmetic to be like, oh God, do I have enough damage? I should know 7 plus 9.
I know. It's so funny. I was like, you talk to people who aren't into math about math, they immediately equate it to arithmetic, but arithmetic is so not math.
Yeah, it's so much easier when you're past all the arithmetic stuff and like the taking derivatives by hand.
Yeah. Um, do you think we have people living on other planets in 200 years?
I'd be skeptical about full time. I mean, I guess when you think about like the space station, the International Space Station, that is technically full time. There's always people there, but I don't think like a permanent settlement in 200 years. I can really see that just from how rough the conditions would be,
Hmm.
especially I guess in the immediate planet sphere, like Mars and Europa, things like that. I just think to be sustainable there, I don't think it's going to be like a city of 20,000, but I could definitely see permanent inhabitants where they cycle out scientists and people working on it. That seems very feasible.
More like maybe a base in Antarctica type of model.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like the perfect analogy to it.
If you could, would you take a trip to space?
Oh, absolutely.
How far would you go?
I mean, I guess it really depends on. I'd like it to be a round trip, but otherwise, I don't think there'd be a limit. I think if I was put up on like on a space station for some project for a year time, I wouldn't complain at all. I would say where do I sign immediately?
Do you think you'll get a chance to travel to space in your lifetime?
I think as a lot of stuff shifts to be more privatized in that thing with launches and the very, very, very expensive space tourism, very little bit that there has been. I don't think so. Especially the Boeing stuff has not fared well, I think, for more companies dipping their toe in that. But I do think one of those like zero G flights where they like drop you like that is something I would definitely be willing to splurge for in my life.
That makes sense. Well, those are my standard questions. Did you have any questions for me or anything else that you think people looking 200 years in the future back at this interview might want to know?
That's so hard. Maybe if I had a little more time to think about it. I don't know. I think I've been doing a lot of history reading recently for my Chinese class. The more I read about history and writings from that, even way farther back than 200 years, it really makes me realize everything's like people are the same all the time. So I guess that makes me really hopeful about the future in 200 years from now, because they're going to read about us and they're going to see interviews or transcripts of these interviews and be like, wow, they meet friends through dumb games and they have weird connections like math and science and find it really relatable.
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny. Some of my best friends from like middle school and high school were people that just happened to have the same bus route as I did. I mean, like
Yeah, it's
completely
just
random.
mhm.
You know. Well, thank you so much, Sadie. I really appreciate it. I hope sometime to meet you in person, maybe whenever we're visiting San Francisco.
Oh, absolutely. I hope so too. It'll be great.
Okay. Well, you have a good rest of your evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.